Hey everyone, it's been a while since I've been live in the group, and there have been tons of new group members, which I'm super excited about. But some of you all haven't got to see my face really or hear my voice. And so sometimes it's nice to know who is kind of behind a group and who is posting all of this holistic evidence-based information and really giving that connection and support in the group. So here I am. I am Andrea Crafton. I am the face behind Mama's Blooming and the handmade organic products. And so I just wanted to hop on here just for a few minutes today and let you know just a little bit about how Mama's Blooming, why I formulated Mama's Blooming and really my passion behind why I do what I do. So I have two boys of my own, ages 6 and 3. And so my motherhood journey, the first time around, I thought I knew it all. I mean, really I did. I thought, oh, well, I have read a couple of books. I've watched The Business of Being Born. My mom, had 5 kids without an epidural, and she, breastfed all of us. And so this is going to be a total breeze. And I don't really need any support. And I've got a doctor, and, she seems nice. And so I completely trust her in the decisions that I'm making for my body and my baby. You get it. And so kind of what happened was, that is not really what happened. It was not easy. I went back to work 2 weeks postpartum. My first baby had lipid tongue ties that was pretty severe, and nobody would help me. The lactation consultants missed them. The pediatrician said, just leave his tongue tie alone. I mean, luckily we were able to breastfeed. Well, hey Beth, we were able to breastfeed well after the age of 2. However, I was induced. I mean, there was just a whole roller coaster of things that really happened the first time around. Second time I got pregnant, I was diagnosed with secondary unexplained infertility, which was a whole nother issue trying to get pregnant. Then once I was pregnant, there was different things that happened during the pregnancy. My baby was breech still at 37 weeks. The midwife that I was seeing, she basically said, hey, if this baby doesn't turn and you go into labor, you're going to have a C-section or a cesarean. And nobody really was giving me options. And at that point, I was really starting to worry. I was having some anxiety, and I thought, I'm not doing this again. I am going to be in control of my birth, and I will decide what's best for my baby and my body. So at that point, I switched providers completely at 37 weeks to Dr. Boots Taylor, C-Baby in Atlanta. I post a lot of his information because he is one doctor in his midwife group that is just absolutely amazing with women and empowering women, giving them the evidence-based informed information they need to make those choices. I wish there was a million Dr. Boots Taylors, I mean, seriously, in the world, because he is absolutely amazing. So anyway, that's enough about me. That's just a little bit background information about why I do what I do. Professionally, I'm a licensed professional counselor, so kind of my background work has been doing a lot of play therapy and helping children and families, a lot of parenting work and support for mothers. And so when we relocated to Missouri from Atlanta, I kind of said, you know what, let me take a year off with the baby and just think about kind of what I want to do. And so my passion, really changed after my second birth and all of those experiences. And I thought, you know what, if someone had told me, given me the information, and I know I could have researched, but how many of us, are told to research, to kind of don't trust what the media is telling us, or our doctors, or sometimes other professionals. And yes, doctors definitely have a place when they are needed. That is not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that when the United States has the worst birth statistics of any other developed country, our breastfeeding rates are, we're doing things wrong. And so what, my goal is to really give women, give mamas that connection, support, evidence-based information that they need, that they don't hear, that they're not going to get during, that prenatal appointment, or, when they're struggling with breastfeeding and, they don't know who to talk to or ask questions. I've been there. And so I feel like if I would have had that one person or that mom that, or a group like Mama's Blooming that I could have went to, some of that mama guilt and those worries and just all those questions, and should I return to work 2 weeks postpartum? No, Andrea, you shouldn't have returned to work postpartum at 2 weeks. I thought it was going to be so easy. My clients need me. They need that therapy support. But what I needed my own emotional support and regulate my breast milk and be with my baby. And no one told me to take a step back and, okay, let's talk about this. So that's really, why I do what I do. I went and got doula training as a birth and postpartum doula. So, along with that counseling and a psychotherapist and my doula training and my own experiences in research and working with moms, that's why I formed Mama's Blooming and I do what I do. So like I said, I know there's a lot of new group members, and so I just wanted to touch base with all of you all. There are some things that are coming up in the group that I am going to be offering all of you all, some exciting things that are happening, and I can't wait to announce those, because it's really going to give you even more support from me, and it's going to give you more support on a more personal level, which I think some of you probably need. Beth, yeah, love it. Women are capable of making the best choice for themselves and their babies. Yeah, we really are. And, I even remember, especially, and I know vaccinating is like it's a big controversial topic. And I used to be like, hush, hush, can't talk about it. I'm not like that anymore. Because again, I feel like that's a topic that I wish that I would have researched more and then made an informed choice. But I remember going in, especially with Crew, my first, and being like, oh my gosh, it's vaccine day and I don't want to do this. I dread going home and having the fever and the nonstop crying and refusing to breastfeed. And he's, both of my children have experienced seizures, and it's just, it's one of those things that, I wish that I would have taken a step back and said, hey, Andrea, sometimes our mama guts and that little voice inside of our head, we need to listen to more often. You don't need to make a choice today. You can go home and you can research. However, though, a lot of times we're felt bullied in doctor offices. We're told that, our children are going to die if we don't vaccinate, or, there's no such thing as adverse reactions after vaccines, and we're made to feel like as moms that we're just not smart. We're just not capable of doing our own research because we don't have the letters behind our name as a medical professional. And I'm here to tell you that is just not true. That is not true. I could go on forever about things, but sometimes our friends and our family and our doctor and the media and, whatever you're reading sometimes on Facebook, that's not the truth. And that's not necessarily what we need to be listening to or following. And so, follow the beat of your own drum, that saying. It really is true. Now I live in a really small rural area of Missouri, in southeast Missouri, and I'll just be honest, like there's a lot of times, and I have friends and I have other moms in the community who are more natural, holistic minded, don't get me wrong. But like for instance, the other day, the school, my husband is a teacher and a coach here in our town. And one of his colleagues came up to him and said, hey, your wife is that organic girl, right? She's that, you all are those parents that, no longer vaccinate and, she does all of that stuff. And he's like, yeah. And she's like, well, I really, we do vaccines, but I don't really know if I believe in all of them. And he was kind of taken aback, like, well, how do I respond to this? So I know that I'm talked about in this town, and I know sometimes that I'm known as, we are known as the crazy mothers or the crazy person who, tries to do things more healthy for her family and tries to make more informed choices and I don't see a pediatrician here in town. And, well, for one, the pediatrician that we saw when we first moved here, the practice will not see us anyway. So that's a whole nother topic. But like I said, he was just kind of taken aback. And then also it's funny because when the school system sends out the letters that say you must be vaccinated, completely up to date on vaccines when you return to school, and then people start tagging me in the post, my husband's like, oh my gosh, Andrea, they're tagging you, and I'm a teacher and a coach there. And I said, you know what, you can't be worried about what other people are thinking. And of course, I'm always polite, and I always say, moms or parents, there are exemptions in the state of Missouri, and that is your right to choose to not vaccinate or to be selective with the vaccines that you choose for your child. They can still attend public school. But again, there's that fear mongering there. And I find that there's fear mongering with everything from fertility to pregnancy, to your birth planning, to postpartum, to breastfeeding. You're going to starve your child, to vaccines. And there's a lot more when you go down that rabbit hole, but that's just, the fear mongering has to stop. And we have to talk about things, and we have to do better telling moms the truth. We have to do better giving them the research, the information, and then letting them choose what is best. Giving them that support, giving them that connection, and just supporting them across the board. But I find that is just not true. Even as a mental health therapist, I'm in several of the maternal professional, therapy groups. And what I'm finding is that a lot of these therapists even, they're so quick to send these mothers to psychiatrists and prescribe medication, and they're totally missing the fact that they're not talking to these mothers about their traumatic birth. They're not talking about their kind of plan is just self-care and some meals made and send you on your way with some medication, and I'll see you once a week. But it goes way beyond that. I truly believe that if mothers were more prepared, more confident, more informed, we would not see the postpartum rate, the depression and anxiety rates like we do. I'm not, and sometimes people are like, well, Andrea, especially on those groups, Andrea, you're blaming mothers. No, I'm not. What I'm blaming is our society as a whole, our culture, and professionals who are supposed to give these mothers this information, who are supposed to give them the support that they need, and they're not. Our culture and society, that we are not giving mothers what they need. So that's kind of my spiel. I'm not saying that postpartum depression and anxiety can't happen, even if you're prepared and you have the best birth ever. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying, I think that all of those do factor in to why we're seeing those rates increase. Not to mention, in almost 25%, I was that statistic of moms who are going back 2 weeks after having their babies. That is absolutely ridiculous. As women, like, we should be upset. This is maddening, and it just shouldn't be this way. So, I know there's a couple of you all, if you're watching this on replay and you have questions for me, write them out. If you want to know more about my story or, some of the help that I do offer moms, I have the natural fertility calls. I have, the breastfeeding support, the breastfeeding guide, the breastfeeding workshop, some of those one-on-one, the support that you need. I'm here for that. Don't forget to sign up for the 10 holistic remedies for babies and kiddos. Sign up for that. So lots of different ways that you can get support and connection from me, definitely. So anybody who is on here, do you all have any questions or feedback from me? Because I am always open to any suggestions, anything that you have or need to say to me, because remember, that's what I'm here for. I hope that your Monday has started off great. I dropped the kiddos off at school this morning, and I make 3 trips into town a day, which is crazy. So in between those trips, I'm making the products and doing my client calls and answering questions online and emails. My life is kind of crazy, but that's what I'm here for. Anybody have any questions or comments for me? Oh, thanks, Laura. I appreciate your feedback and your support. Definitely. Thank you so much. Yeah. Sometimes, and I've been very open about that sometimes doing what I do is, I don't want to say lonely, but, like before when I was doing just straight therapy work, there's tons of therapists that I could consult with and I could talk to, and but this is a whole nother dynamic. And so really doing what I'm doing from being a mental health therapist, there really isn't anyone that I have found doing what I'm doing, which is fine. It's okay. But a lot of times my colleagues, like I said, they just don't get it, which, but that's why I'm doing what I'm doing, because I feel like it's so needed. It's so important, and it is a must. It is a must for women, and it's a must for mamas all over. So if no one else has any questions or comments, I'm going to hop off of here. I've got some other things to do. But be looking for, like I said, some announcements, some things that are going to be changing, and more personal, I think, support for all of the group members from me. So I'm pretty excited about what I'm working on for all of you, and I can't wait to announce it. So I'm going to hop off of here. Thanks again, you all, for all of your support. I couldn't do what I do without all of you. And it really is, like following my passion, I really think this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Not that I didn't love doing play therapy and working with kiddos and doing a lot of parenting work, but I didn't always feel like it was giving me, I don't know, like I said, being a mom, it just kind of changed my direction and focus and passion in life of what I wanted to do. So here I am. And again, I really do appreciate all of you. And I'm here for whatever you need. Feel free to private message me, email me. If you have a question in the group that you don't want to just post, I can always anonymously post your questions as well. So feel free, reach out whenever you need to. I'm always here for you. Hope you all have a great rest of your day and a great week. Thanks so much for watching and listening.